All right, we're on lesson 38, part 2. This is Common Core Standard 6EE2C, evaluating expressions. Same lesson as the previous one, just a kick it up a notch sort of a lesson. So we'll see a couple of example problems where we're just going to kick things up a little bit and practice them with a little bit more complexity. But you'll find, I think you'll find with this one that is, even though it looks complex at first, it looks like a monster at first, it really is just a little kitty cat meow. So these types of problems really are that way. They look all monstrous, but they're just not. So let's take a look at our first weed. Okay, so if we have 5 times n plus 3 minus 7n, or 5 times the sum of n plus 3, and subtract 7n, and psst, by the way, n equals 1/2, here's the first level of complexity we're going to be looking at. Sometimes we're going to be having to use the tools in our brain for adding fractions, and sometimes we need to use the tools in our brain for adding decimals or subtracting or whatever calculations with fraction and decimals. We can't forget those. We have to keep them nice and shiny in the toolbox in our brain, keep them dusted off and usable. So, but it's all the same. Plug it in and play the game. So let's go ahead and plug in for n, 1/2. And here again, that's going to be times 1/2. Oops, there was no parenthesis there. Oops, 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 oops. Ugh, I can't erase it now because I pushed the wrong button, so whatever, just ignore that. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and do my order of operations. Parentheses first, 1/2 plus 3, well, if I have 3 full pizzas and I add a half to that, it's just 3.5 pizzas, right? That's all that is. Times 5. So now I'm crossing, I crossed off what I did and I'm bringing down what I didn't. Notice there was not a multiply there. Some people like to put the multiply dot there when it's next to the parentheses. Go ahead and do that if it helps you out. Feel free to do that. And then that's times 7, 1/2 I'm still bringing down. Okay. Next step is exponents. I do not see any exponents. Then after that is multiply or divide, whichever comes first, where here's multiply, our first set of multiply. And so I need to dig into my brain or go back in my notes for how do I multiply with fractions. So either the steps are in my brain or they're in my notes, and after a while they'll be stuck in my brain if they're not yet. First step is to change them all to fractions. Okay, 5/1 is now a fraction. Multiply, add, bring it to the side. That's 6 plus 1 is 7/2. Cross reduce, no, nothing goes into both of them. Cross reduce, no, nothing goes into both of them. I went this way first, and then I went this way. That. Multiply straight across, 5 times 7 is 35, and 1 times 2 is 2. I'm going to leave it like that for right now. And I'm going to bring down, I would bring down what I haven't done. And then it's multiply here now. Change them both to fraction. Okay, 7/1 times 1/2 equals. And cross reduce doesn't work. Multiply straight across. 7 times 1 is 7. 1 times 2 is 2. Okay, this leaves me with, I'm going to carry this over here because I ran out of room at the bottom. I ran out of room at the bottom, so I'm just going to carry this over here. 35 divided by 2 minus, that's from here, 1/2. Hey, you know what? I like this one because it's add or subtract. Remember, with add or subtract, you have to have a common denominator. And look at this one. It already does. Yay for me. So I just need to, oh, goodness, you probably caught that. Did you not catch this? Look at this. 7 times 1 is 7, and I made my 7 look like a 1. That's supposed to be 7. I caught that just in time. Okay. 35 subtract 7 for here is borrow to 28 divided by 2, or over 2, because remember my denominator and add subtract stay the same. Improper fraction, bottom into top, remainder is the numerator. So 2 into 28, 2 fits into 2 once, and bring down the 8. 2 fits into 8 4 times exactly, and there is no numerator, so I don't even need a fraction. Your final answer is just going to be 14. All right, let's try another one. You might get something that says 7xy. Remember, numbers next to letters is multiply, so feel free to put the little multiply symbols in there so that you don't get confused. That's 7 times x times y. And over here, psst, by the way, x equals 2.5. Oh, we're going to have to remember our decimal calculations. And by the way, y equals 9. Okay, so we just plug in and play. So we've got 7 times x, which is 2.5, times y, which is 9. There are no parentheses. There are no exponents. We're on multiply, divide, whichever comes first as you go across. That's the first multiplication that needs to happen. And in this case, it wouldn't matter because multiplication is commutative. It can go in any order. But just to stay safe, I'm going to stay in that order. So 2.5 times 7. Remember, when you multiply with decimals, you multiply like normal, and then you pull those babies out of the car later. 7 times 5, 35. 7 times 2, 14, 15, 16, 17. One baby in the car, one baby in the car. So that is 17.5. Bring down what you didn't do. So now I just need to do that times 9. 9 times 5, 45. 9 times 7 is 63? Yeah, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67 with that 4 added in. 67. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 6 more is 15. And I've got one baby in the car, one baby in the car. So my answer is 157.5. Okay, another we do number 3. And this one was one that a lot of people will see and go, oh no, this is a monster. It's a fraction with letters all over the place. I don't know what to do. And remember, this fraction bar really is just a line with some numbers above it and some numbers below it, basically meaning it's a division problem. Fractions are really just division problems. So don't let it freak you out. It's going to be okay. We'll plug and play here. We've got, first we're going to plug. So here's our little secrets over here. X is 4, so I'm going to rewrite it with 4 to the second plus y is 2 to the third divided by z, which is 3. Okay, so now I can just do my math. I'm going to go ahead and do the exponents here. 4 times 4 is 16 plus 2 times 2 times 2, that's 4 times 2 is 8, all still divided by 3. Now, in this situation, I know that you're thinking, okay, order of operations says that division needs to come next, but I can handle everything that's at the top right now. So it kind of lets me kind of go out of order here. So 16 plus 8 is 24, and that's all divided by 3. And so now all I need to do is divide 3 into 24, bottom into top, remainder is the numerator, right, because it's improper fraction. And 3 fits into 24 8 times, because 8 times 3 is 24. With nothing left over, your answer is simply 8. Looked way more difficult than that, didn't it? But you just take care of everything in bites, and then it's done. Let's try a you do. Okay, you give this one a try. This is 4x plus 3y subtract 2, all divided by z. If x equals 3, y equals 2, and z equals 4. Plug those pieces of information in, and then play with the math and see what you get. Push pause, and then push play when you have an answer. All right, so you must have some sort of an answer. Let's see how you did. First step I'm going to do is plug in the information. So that's 4 times, remember when your number's next to a letter, it's times. So it's 4 times 3 plus 3 times y, which is 2, subtract 2, all divided by z. Oopsie, z is 4. Plug. Okay. Now I'm on order of operations at the top only. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 3 times 2 is 6, subtract 2, all still divided by 4. Order of operations still at the top. 12 plus 6 is 18, subtract 2 is, so I've got 18, subtract 2 is 16, I'm going to put it over here, all divided by 4. And now I can do the division because it's an improper fraction. 4 fits into 16 4 times because 4 times 4 is 16 with no remainder. So your answer is simply 4. Hopefully that's what you got. If that makes sense to you, go ahead and get the closure questions. If you feel like you can do it on your own, if you're still a little confused, you can rewind and see if any of it makes sense. And if that doesn't help, come see me and we'll work on it together.